Why does probate take so long? I mean, why does it feel like you're at Disneyland on the busiest day of the summer? You're waiting in a line at the Matterhorn. The kids are hungry. It's 102 out, and all of that times a million.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that next. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brendan Mohr, California Realtor and Certified Probate and Trust Specialist.
And I'm Bill Heyman. I'm a licensed California professional fiduciary. I'm also a registered and bonded legal document assistant in both California and Nevada, as well as a licensed real estate broker in California and a licensed realtor in Nevada.
Now, every day we help people save thousands of dollars and headaches through our very unique probate administration service and real estate listing combo in California and Nevada. So please reach out to us with comments on this video, questions. Our contact information is below. We have our email address, text, call us, and make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel because we're dropping new information every single week, and we have a whole lot of videos in the backlog for you to learn the probate and probate real estate process. So, Bill, back to this. Why does probate take so long?
Well, probate takes a long time, on average, about a year, and there's a lot of reasons for that, some of which are controllable, a lot of which are not. First of all, what you have to realize is during the probate process, right smack dab, kind of in the middle of it, there's this 4-month waiting period. And that's in there by probate rule or law. And that 4-month waiting period is in there so that creditors have a chance to come forward and file a claim against the estate if they're going to. Now, a lot of people, when they hear that, they go, oh gosh, we don't want that, creditors come forward. But actually, believe it or not, that is an advantage of probate. And the reason it's an advantage is once that 4-month window closes, that's it. Creditors can never, ever again try to come forward and claim something on the estate. Real quick, you don't have that when you have a living trust. Living trusts have other advantages, but living trusts, you're virtually open forever for a creditor to come back and try to get something. But probate cuts it off. So it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So you've got that 4-month window. The second reason, or one of the next big issues with the timeline of probate is it takes so long. You got to go through 2 hearing dates, a minimum of 2. You go through one at the beginning to get the appointment, and you go through another at the end to close probate. Well, the problem with that is if you happen to be working in a court or a county where the court is very, very busy, it can take time to get that hearing date. Give you an example, in Sacramento County, you can't get a hearing date. It's 4 to 6 months out. So you've got to add that time on to the probate timeline. Take another county like, for example, Amador County, which is a smaller county. You can usually get a hearing date in 30 to 45 days. That's because it's a smaller county and they're not quite as busy. Now, I know there's some other reasons you know of, Brendan, that add on to the timeline.
So if there's real estate involved, you have to get the home sold. So there's some preparation. You can't even sign a listing agreement until the personal representative has been appointed by the court. So, you really do have to wait for that court date. And once you have the document called the letters and the appointment by the court, then you can list the home. And it may take some time in preparation just to get that on the market. It does take a fair amount of communication with the personal representative and the realtor you hire. But there are some ways to help shorten that process. Watching our video called How to Hire a Probate Realtor, there's 10 interview questions to ask a realtor for probate. You could do all of that in advance. You can really get prepped before that hearing to get that ready for the market. But sometimes people wait, and maybe if you overprice the property, you want to look at all that data to that a qualified realtor has given you, so you don't know.
And another thing that can add to the timeline is before each hearing. I mentioned there were 2 hearings, but before each hearing, it's up to the probate professional, whether it's a probate attorney or someone like myself. But it's up to them to make sure that all the paperwork is in order for the judge and the court to review at that hearing. Now, if the paperwork is all in order at the hearing, then the judge signs off and you move forward with probate. But if the paperwork's not in order and it can't be corrected at the hearing, then what the judge is going to do is he's going to give you what's called a continuance. And that's just another hearing date further out to give you time to correct whatever the court happens to want or think needs to be corrected. So if the judge pushes it out to another hearing date, well, that's going to add to your timeline.
It really elongated the process.
Absolutely. And again, you want to work with someone who's qualified and make sure and knows what they're doing so that they get that paperwork in perfect order for the judge before the first hearing. We happen to have a 95% rate of having the paperwork ready for the court, and rarely do we have continuances. So that's just behooving on you to want to work with someone who knows what they're doing so that they have it in order for the hearing.
Yeah, I would say people really want to research who they're going to be working with what I call the probate professional, either a probate attorney or someone like Bill, a non-attorney probate administration service who saves their clients thousands of dollars through that service. But just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking with someone who it was actually a realtor who had a property that was going through probate in his own family, and this was a little while ago now. He said it closed about a year ago. He said the process took him 5 years with the same real estate attorney. And we've heard these stories from other clients of ours that have left their attorneys to come over to us. And I'm not knocking attorneys.
Sure.
We've worked with great attorneys. But his thing that he told me was very interesting. And this goes into why you really do need to do some research. On the attorney's website, it says he specializes in probate. But it was mistake after mistake after mistake that kept pushing everything out. And you don't want to be in probate for 5 years. So that was a real big issue. Should I go on to maybe the next reason?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, lack of communication. It goes right into the probate professional as well, and lack of communication with the with someone like the attorney or whoever your probate professional is can be a really big issue between the personal representative, the administrator or executor, and that professional.
Yeah.
If you're not really sure what's going on, and they're not getting back to you, you have questions, that could be a red flag. So that's something to really look out for. A reason why I really love working with Bill is that doesn't ever exist. I can get a hold of Bill whenever, and it makes the process so much smoother. So sometimes Bill is actually even the administrator of the estate, which is great. Not just the one going through the actually helping with the process itself, and it is unbelievably smooth. It just makes everything just go
flow better.
Flow better. Record time.
Well, you bring up that point of communication. Oftentimes, when you hire a probate attorney to do your probate, which is fine if that's the way you choose to go, as I've mentioned in I think other videos, there's this wall of separation between the attorney and the realtor, and what happens is that wall tends to block good communication. When you work with a team like Brendan and I, there's no wall there. It's more like a two-way street that's always flowing back and forth with information and communication. That's very, very important. The last thing I want to mention about what can cause that probate timeline to be a lot longer. Sometimes, I know in cases that I've worked on, we'll have multiple heirs of the estate, and there's paperwork that goes out to the heirs to sign and return. And sometimes there's one heir, one brother or sister who's a procrastinator, and we'll send them a document asking them, please sign and return. And send it out, say, on January 1st, and I don't get it back for 2 months. Well, when an heir holds paperwork like that, or a party that's involved holds paperwork like that and doesn't return it in a timely manner, that's adding time on. So I always try to tell the families that I'm working with, please, when you get paperwork, act on it right.
The probate real estate is like that too.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll have someone who's looking to put the home on the market, and they're taking a long time to sign the listing agreement. And what they don't realize is I can't do anything until that is signed. And then probate real estate, just in general, there's these very tight contractual guidelines. Especially once you've accepted an offer, you have a very, very limited amount of time to do things, such as get disclosures out and some other documents. We need those signed immediately. So great communication. You really have to be on it. You should have multiple ways of being able to be alerted to communication, whether text, call, email. Sometimes we need some things done pretty quickly,
Yeah.
and if you want the probate itself to go very smooth, you really do need to respond
Yeah.
very quickly.
Yeah, there's been numerous times when I have gotten into my car and I have driven over to an heir's home, met with them, and had them sign a document because they just were procrastinating getting it back in the mail. And I'll do that. That's part of our service. Whatever it takes to help get this done for the families we're working with, that's what we're going to do.
Did you mention at the top of this video? I don't recall if you did. How long the average probate takes?
I might have mentioned it, but I'll say it again that the average probate is about a year. Uh, if I've got everything going right, the hearing dates aren't, the courts aren't making them too far out, and errors and everybody are getting documents back on time, I can get them done in about 9 months. About 9 months, but 9 months is about the fastest you can possibly do a probate in California, anyway.
Yes. So I hope that was great information for you. I mean, we've seen clients come to us who have been going through the probate process for years and actually switched over to our service, and that is a
Mhm.
possibility. So if you're going through that, maybe reach out to us. What you also really need to know is really a good idea of the full process, especially if there's real estate involved. Please watch this next video that we have linked. It's perhaps our most important video besides our one on how to save money in probate, which is linked below in our About section. This next video, the probate real estate timeline. Please watch that next.